Some stories sound too strange to be real, like fate stepping in with fangs, claws, or even like in today's case, stingers. Today I have a story about a woman who had already given up in life and was ready to die. But to get to what really happened, you'll have to like stay tuned. And hello, my name is Kali, and this is Kali's Chronicles. We upload one or two times per week, Tuesdays and Friday evenings. And without any other thing in mind, let's get into today's video. On June 14th, 2011, 42-year-old Ellie Lobel stepped unsteadily outside of her house in Wildomar, California, and immediately she had to lean on her round-the-clock caretaker for support. This mother of three had just moved to this rural part of California so she could die in peace. For the last 15 years, Ellie had been battling Lyme disease, which is a chronic and debilitating condition spread by ticks. But now, after those years of fighting, Ellie had no more energy, and she could barely stand up on her own. Her mind was in this kind of fog, and she was totally hopeless. She felt totally hopeless. And so today, Ellie had recently hired an end of life coordinator who is a person like a caregiver, but he or she like helps you in your last days. And so she had recently hired an end of life coordinator to help her plan for her death, and also to make sure nobody attempted to revive or resuscitate her if she felt unconscious. Ellie really thought she was going to die any moment and wanted it to happen in peace in California in her bed. But dying is complicated. And Ellie, after moving to California, had lain in her bed for 3 days expecting to die, but didn't. And so on June 14th, Ellie decided that she would get up, and with the help of her caretaker, she would just go for a walk in a new town. Every step was painful for Ellie as she clutched her caretaker's arm, but the sun was out, the sky was blue, and the flowers were blooming. It looked beautiful. And just for a moment, she realized she was feeling something she had not felt in a really long time. She was feeling grateful to be alive, in short. But that feeling was very short-lived, because as she stood on the sunny sidewalk in California, she suddenly felt something small and sharp smack into her forehead. And Ellie, she kind of looked up and realized it was a bee. Now she was determined not to let an insect ruin this rare instance of happiness in her life. Ellie just kinda reached up and tried to swat it away. But when she looked up again, she noticed that the bee was still there, and there was now an entire cloud, a swarm of bees over her head that were descending down on her. And as this happened, Ellie's caretaker, who saw the swarm, screamed, let go of Ellie, and ran away from her. She literally didn't want to die with her. She was scared for her life. So poor old Ellie, who couldn't even stand up on her own, was forced to fall to the ground and kind of cover her head with her hands and try to protect herself. but within seconds, these bees had descended on her and were stinging her on her head, her ears, her face. I mean, she was getting like destroyed. Now, these were African killer bees that are known for stinging their victims dozens of times, and Ellie was fiercely allergic to bee stings. And so, instead of dying a peaceful death in her bed, Ellie was now going to die a vicious, painful, awful public death out on the sidewalk, all by herself. Ellie's life had started off with so much promise. By the time she was 18, she had already earned a PhD in physics, and by 1996, when she was 27 years old, Ellie and her husband had already had 3 beautiful children, and they had moved into their dream home in New York, Westchester County. Her life really seemed perfect, but that same year they moved into their dream home, Ellie suddenly noticed there was this rash on top of her thigh. It kinda looked like a red bullseye,
and
and
Ellie
Ellie
had
had
chalked it up to,
chalked it
some
up
sort of weird
to,
spider bite and not thought much
a
of
sort
it.
of a weird spider bite, and not that much about it, not realizing that that bullseye marking is actually the calling card for a tick bite who carry Lyme disease. That's what they live. That's what they leave behind after they bite you. But Ellie didn't know that. But Ellie didn't know that, and so not long after seeing that rash, Ellie began to have night sweats and night shakes. She had flu-like symptoms and didn't go away for months, and it left her totally exhausted and discouraged. Doctors told her that she could have arthritis or fibro- fibroma- fibromyalgia. Hey, yo. Doctors told her that she could have arthritis or fibromyalgia, oh my god, or MS, or heart failure, or some other horrible condition, but it was ultimately a park ranger that Ellie just happened to meet one day who recognized that rash she described at the top of her leg was very likely because she had been bit by a tick that had Lyme disease, and now all of the symptoms seemed like they came from a tick that they come from that Lyme disease, like the symptoms or are from Lyme disease, Lyme disease symptoms. And then when Ellie went into the doctor's office and told them that she thinks she has Lyme disease, and they said, "Yeah, you got the disease." Uh, they still told her that the disease has progressed so far; it's basically too late for her. And so for years, Ellie wasn't able to work or really even be a mother because of this disease, and that eventually led to her marriage falling apart and ended in a bitter divorce. And so this disease really had just kind of wrecked her life. And so at the 15th year mark of having this disease, she decided, you know what, I'm going to California and I'm going to die on my own terms. But Ellie had envisioned a peaceful death in her bed, not an agonizing pain by bee stings. The attack on Ellie lasted maybe about a minute, but it was the longest minute Ellie had in her life. The pain was just unimaginable, and that after all the bees had left, Ellie's caretaker actually came running back over to her, scooped her up, and began running with her back to the car. And as Ellie was getting carried But as Ellie was getting carried, she realized her caretaker probably is going to take her to the hospital, which she didn't want. She just wanted to like die. Even if it's the best thing, she's okay with that. She just wants to live. She's had enough of it. And she still deep down did just want to die, and so she figured, with these bees things, I'm going to have an allergic reaction any minute now, and that's going to take me out, and I just want it to happen so I can be done. And so Ellie made her caretaker drive her back to the house and put her in bed. And then Ellie lay there waiting to die. But 3 days later, and Ellie did not die yet. In fact, she actually felt the
Best
best
she had
she
felt in
felt in
years.
years.
There had been no
There had been
discernible allergic
no
reaction.
discernible allergic reaction to all of these bee stings all over her head, and all the chronic pain and discomfort that she normally had all the time from Lyme disease was gone. And after doing some research about these things and about Lyme disease, Ellie came across this 1997 study done in Australia that found the active ingredient in some wasps and bees was powerful enough to kill the bacteria that causes Lyme disease. But no one had ever really researched this because it was totally unethical to release a swarm of bees on critical Lyme disease patients. But in Ellie's case, this happened in its own accord. It happened in its own terms, and the bee stings literally saved her. She like got cured, and since her bee attack, Ellie had become the leading advocate for bee venom as treatment for Lyme disease. So she basically got cured by another insect attack. So that's it for my story today, and this is the first story I have given with a very good ending. Yeah, this is the first story I've given with a good ending from a tragic accident to a good ending, and I hope you guys loved it. So if you like loved it, just hit the thank you button, share this to your friends. I saw there's a hype button down there, hype the video, and subscribe to my channel. It helps me grow, and we'll meet on another day, and you guys have a great day today, have a great night, and we'll meet tomorrow, maybe next week. We'll meet next week. Peace.